Every year, about 1.5 million people come to visit Aruba. And how do they get here? A lot of them come by cruise ship. They come piling off the ship, and where do they go? About 10 blocks away from the ship. They buy a hat, a bag, a t-shirt. The rest come in by air. And where do they go? To the beach resorts. And what do they do there? They never leave the resort. They're missing out on a lot. So let me share with you my hidden gems of Aruba. When many visitors come to Aruba, they tend to do the predictable things. They eat at trendy restaurants, try some kite surfing, snorkel, and sip those silly drinks at sunset. Now, there's nothing really wrong with that. But then again, if you take the trouble to leave those beaches in the rearview mirror and explore the real Aruba, you'll discover this is actually a Caribbean island like no other. Why? Well, first of all, it's Dutch influenced. It's easy to forget the Dutch were a major colonial power, and most people forget that New York was once called New Amsterdam. Also, take a look at the map. Because it's so far south, Aruba is more about cactus trees than coconut palms. The interior of this island is actually an arid desert, crisscrossed by a labyrinth of trails made just for exploring. And since Aruba is only 20 miles from end to end, that means all you have to do is hop aboard a four-wheel drive to become one with nature at Arikok National Park. The national park takes up about 18% of the entire country. And when you get up here at the top of Arikok, guess what? It's windy. In fact, it's always windy. 20-knot gusts or more, not unusual. But where else are you going to find a desert landscape like this? Maybe even a moonscape. Don't forget the cactus. And behind me, your own private beach that goes for miles. The park is home to a group of 3 caves full of ancient Arawak Indian rock drawings. And as my guide Neomar told me, if you wait for it, hundreds of bats. So Neo, tell me, we're in the cave now, huh?
Yeah, we are in the Warikiri cave.
But this place used to be all underwater.
Yeah, sir, for a long time ago, like 95 million years ago, Aruba was underwater.
95 million years ago, but who's counting?
Yeah. Over here we have like 500 bats, more in the back in the third room. It is without light.
You have more in the back?
Yeah.
Sounds like you're selling me bats. We got some more in the back room. But the bottom line, you want to come here during the day because that's when the bats are sleeping. Now, if caves and bats aren't your thing, and I won't blame you if that's the case, then visit the park's natural pool. Just one word of warning. The trip down to the pool and the trip back from the pool, they're not on roads, they're on rocks, followed by more rocks. So you gotta hold on. Protected from the rough sea by surrounding rocks, this peaceful pool is a great place to swim, snorkel, or just relax. It may be a rough ride, but a trip to Arikok National Park will show you a side of Aruba that not everybody knows about. Aruba isn't just conserving nature, it's harnessing it. What makes this climate so perfect, the trade winds, are also an energy source. The Vanderpeet wind farm now provides 20% of the country's energy. It's also become an unofficial tourist attraction. Even basic transportation here has received a kind of green makeover. I jumped on a battery-powered tram, the first of its kind in the Caribbean, with Aruba's Prime Minister, Mike Iman. So is this Aruba's first train?
This is, well, like 100 years ago we had some rail transportation.
But then it went away.
Then, yeah, that went away. Yes.
So this is the first real train transportation, if you will.
And it's a light train and fits within our concept of a sustainable development for Aruba.
How do you define sustainable?
For us it is reducing everything that has to do with utilizing crude and oil products and focusing a lot on wind and sun energy. We already have 20% of our total capacity is based on windmill farm we have. By 2020 we're going for 100%.
And the tram is just a part of Aruba's plan to transform it into one of the most sustainable countries in the world. The island is also creating new green spaces for both locals and visitors to enjoy, because there's nothing like pedal power for reducing those carbon emissions. Now, one of the cool things about Aruba is something called Linear Park. It's the longest bike trail in the Caribbean. Now, the really cool thing about it is it starts at the airport, and by the time they finish, it'll take you the entire length of the island. Want to know something even more cool? When you go off the path. In fact, it's called To the Beach and to Lunch. If you really want to know a country, you need to swear off the typical resort buffets and try the local dishes. Aruban food has flavors unlike those you'll find anywhere else in the Caribbean. To find them, don't look for street signs, look for landmarks, like the Wendy's. But don't stop there. Just turn right and keep on going until you get to the old Kanuku house, where they serve up family recipes that go back generations. And if you can find your way to the restaurant, then you can easily find your way back to the kitchen. That's where you'll find Chef Kurtzberry. How are you, man?
I'm Larry.
And some true Arubian local food. So what are we making today?
We're making conch stew today.
Let's do it, yeah, absolutely. The secret to staying true to this Dutch, Spanish, French, and English-influenced cuisine is not about the sauce they put on the dish, it's about the way they source the ingredients. That's why this chef doesn't start his day in the kitchen. He ends up there after spending a morning with local farmers, conspiring to create whole new flavors.
These look good. I like them. All right.
Fresh produce, unique flavors, and a splash of Caribbean spirits.
We need some brandy.
Brandy?
Now you may throw that in.
You ready?
Yeah, just throw it in.
Throw it in. Hold on, I'm not done yet. Here we go. And wait. Oh, okay. And what you end up with? It's a cuisine that needs to be sampled. All right, you ready to eat?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Whoa, it's hot. That's good.
It's good.
That's really good. And that good food is part of a much bigger, surprising picture. That's Aruba. Aruba is a country that continually defies preconceived notions, and it should. I mean, how beautiful is this? Now, a lot of countries in the Caribbean will tell you they're beautiful, and some of them may make you run from the water, but that's okay too. You know why? Because the beauty about Aruba is when you get to a beach like this, and you're looking for footprints in the sand, just look behind you, because the only ones in the sand are the ones you made.